Morning, all of you. And today, I again request that you all of must stay in your home. Don't go outside your homes. Then we have to take the quick revision of yesterday's topics: tropism, movements on the plants, basically tropical movements. So yesterday we have talked about the phototropism, geotropism, and chemotropism and hydrotropism. Phototropism means whenever the directional movement of any plant parts responds to the light, and the geotropism the movement of the plant parts to in response to gravity, and the chemotropism the directional movement of the plant parts response to the chemical stimulus, as well as the directional movements of the plant parts response to the water. I think everybody have learned it, or you have already read it. There are most important questions that about give differences between the tropical movement and the anostic movements. You must see in it and write the examples as well as their diagrams also. Let's move that how this phototropism will take place in the plant, because sometimes in CBSE or in NCERT questions it can be asked in details. For that we have to take some plants, potted plants, do this such type of activities in which we can understand easily about the phototropism and positive phototropism. For that we have to take a potted plant in a pot, and we can place it in front of the light or in front of the outside inside under the sunlight. We can see the plant can always try grows upwards, but if we can put that plants in a dark room, and if there's a very minute hole can be found, or through the windows we can see the plants can be started to bend towards the window. So we can say the plant can always try to grow up towards the light, and due to which we can say and explain that this is called the phototropism. But there is a question, why these plants can always grow towards the light? What is the main effects, main scientific reason that these plants can always grow towards the light? For that you have not know about that the hormones, plant phytohormones means the different kinds of chemicals which can present in the plants, which can help for the coordinations of the plants, in which there is a very most important hormone that is called auxin, which is present at the axial parts, at the tip of their axial parts or axial tip, which can always help it to grow, because the function of the auxin is always for the growth. So whenever this auxin is both side in the plants, it can be in the tip, it can be always grows in the upwards. But whenever there is no lights in the room, but in the directional, if a light is coming from downwards like the windows, so the auxin can be always try to move towards it. But in the second way, that plant can always move towards the light. Why this growth is always done towards the light? Means how this oxygen hormone can able help to grow these plants. For that we have to understand that where the oxygen is mainly present. So oxygen is always mainly present at the tip root or tip part of the plants, which can be concentrated over tip, and the tip of this stem concentrated more and more side of receiving lights. Means generally plants tip part can always try to get the more light, so the oxygen can be always shifted towards the other sides. Means it is not always in front of the light. So due to which we can understand easily when generally the oxygen is present in these parts of the plants, which can be concentrated in the different sides, means in the shady places, in the shady part of the plants. Like this you can see in this diagram that sun is like giving the light from this direction, and the whole oxygen which is always found over here, it can be shaded over in this sides. So the whole oxygen is present over shady sides, it means concentration increase in the shady parts of the plants, means opposite side of the light. So whenever the function of the oxygen can start to grow up, and due to which the oxygen can do its function, and due to which this part of the plant can able to grow hardly and grow fastly. That's why the plant can always moves towards the sunlight. or this is called the geotropism. Again, I want to tell you that generally plants oxygen is always over here, concentrated over here, due to which whenever the plant can show its tropism, the whole concentration of oxygen can be maximized in the shady parts of the plants or shady parts of that tip, due to which that can be always help for the growth. Means whenever this oxygen can start to grow up, do its function, try to according to its nature, it can be start to grow up, due to which this portion will not grow and only this portion will grow, due to which the plant can be started to bend towards the light. So we can say this is the geotropism. This geotropism can always helpful for the bending of the plants towards the sunlight. This question is very important because this can be asked so many times in the boards, but we also know, because we have to just familiar with the plants, that generally plants can always bend towards the light. We can always see, we can always and experience in our homes, in our gardens. Then come on the directional movements due to the growth in the response to the touch shown by the pea plant. Means how the that thigmotropism can be take place. For that we can take the example of the pea plant, in which we can see the generally pea plant stem is weak and so it can be modified into a tendrils, as we already know. So whenever the movement of the tendrils, the tip of the tendrils can be always get or touch, because this is a thigmotropism. Thigmonastic movement means it can be shows the response against the other, but there is no growth, there is no directional movement. But in case of the thigmotropism, there is a directional movement. Means suppose this is a support, this is the support and this is the tendril. Whenever tendrils can be attached or get any support or comes in the contact of its support, the part of the tendril cannot be start to grow fastly, but the part which is away from the support, it will grow very fast, due to which we can say this they will just get in the circled to their surroundings. Why these get these clings? Because generally whenever the oxygen can be shifted from the tip up to the other part, means away from the support, so this tendril can be circled in the supports, so it can be always helpful for the pea plants or other plants, that they can be easily help to grow and just give up or climb up to their nearby plants. So it is very necessary for these things, and this can be always help for the thigmo. Then come on the response of the plant to the gravity, or we can say the geotropism. As we know already that the growth of the root part of the plants is always known as the geotropism, and whenever growth of the plant roots can be towards the gravity but not due to the gravity. Alert that the growth of the root is always towards the gravity but not the due to gravity. That is called the geotropism. For that we can again do an experiment. For this experiment we can take a transparent glass in which we can place plants, and we can see the growth of the roots. It will always towards the gravity, but after that we can just turn that plants, and we can say it becomes the horizontal on the ground. So after few days in the later on we can see the growth of root like this. It can be always bent towards the gravity, means towards the downwards, and the growth of the shoot part is always upwards. This is called the negative geotropism, and this is called the positive geotropism. Means the root will always help to grow towards the gravity, but be read that this process is not due to gravity. Never write about that due to gravity. Means this root, it is nature, because of the growth of this growth is root is always towards the gravity. That's why it is known as what we can say gravity or the geotropism. Means the growth of towards the gravity, that is called positive geotropism, and the growth of the stem against the gravity, that is called the negative geotropism. Sometimes it can be asked about the relation of the negative and the positive geotropism. For that, this example is very. Sometimes some people can ask you that what is the function of the roots. Generally, the students like the 10th standard, they can give the answer very easily, but still you have to know about that. Generally, these plants roots can always help for the anchor is means then they can, these roots can always fix them in the soil. Second, they can provide the minerals and waters and other substances from the plants, due to which this can be helpful. In the same way, the function of the stem, the plants is to be exposed leaves to maximum sunlight. Therefore, the stem or the shoot of the plant always grow up away from the pull of the gravity, and it is always a negative geotropism, and the growth of the root is always positive geotropism. Then let's move on to the last topic of this, that the chemotropism. As you already know, the chemotropism is generally basically seen during the development of pollen grain. I can just show with the help of a diagram. This diagram is easily shown, means this is the part of the anther or stigma, and the anther, these are the anthers, or you can say these are the pollen grains which can be stick over here. Whenever this is the ovule in which they can release some specific type of chemical, due to which these pollen grains can capable to development of this pollen tube. Means development of this pollen tube is known as chemotropism, because of the secretion of a specific type of chemicals inside the ovary. Means due to the ovules, due to which this pollen tube is always moved toward that a particular end, that is called the micropyle end, and this is called the chemotropism in the plants. In the same way, the last one is the hydrotropism. Hydrotropism is always shows that plant and always move. For that, we can again do this experiment. We can take a plants and we can put them in the soil, and there is a dry soil, but we should also put some water in a specific way sides. We can see that the movements and the growth of the root is always towards the water side. Means there this, the whole soil is dry, but only there is a wet, so this root or root hairs can be start to move towards the water also. Means this is movement of the plant, we can say, is called the hydrotropism. So this way this topic is completed. I think everybody understand. If you don't understand, you can ask me in later. Let's move another topic, that is the plant hormones or phytohormones. Means phyto means the plants, and the hormones means the chemical which can help for them to develop the growth of the plants, and some other conditions and other coordinations with different activities. Means these plants can always grow with the help of different types of substances, that is they are known as regulators or the plant growth regulators, and they are directly known as the growth